What's up everybody, Chad here for yet another video with the Tacoma, and today we are going to be doing a replacement of a specific part here on the truck, specifically with the engine. And today we are going to be looking at the crankshaft position sensor. So there was a recall done by Toyota not too long ago, maybe a year and a half or so ago, on 2016 and 2017 model Tacomas regarding the crankshaft position sensor. And there were a select number of trucks that were having them go bad and actually leaving people stranded. In some cases, we were reading online about it, and there were some people who own these Tacomas that had been going onto a freeway, and that all of a sudden their truck was stalling, and then they'd have to pull off to the side of the road and their truck wouldn't start from there. So Toyota, I guess, looked into it and found out that there was a set of production pieces, parts of the crankshaft position sensors that could go bad. Now, the reason that Toyota says this is because there was more of a anti-corrosion material that was put onto the sensors, and the sensors would therefore go bad or not read the crankshaft position correctly. And that is exactly what the sensor does. Obviously, that's what the name is. But the main reason that we are going to be replacing that today with the newer sensor is not because mine happens to fall under that recall, because in which case I would have had Toyota take care of that, but because by really following with these orange virus tunes and the threads and everything, there are some people that were saying they got better performance out of their motors by replacing that sensor with the new one, even though theirs did not fall under the recall category and they weren't having their engine stall out. Now, I haven't had that issue with my truck, and neither has Bandit, but the reason that we are doing it is because people have been recording a lower number of misfires in their engine. Now, a misfire is something that you obviously don't want to have a whole lot of in your engine, but when it comes to these Tacomas, and now that ours are tuned, sometimes that brings out some not so great characteristics of the motor. And with this high compression engine and whatnot, and it's being changed around, it is of a benefit to you and your Tacoma to replace it. So today we're going to be going through the process of replacing the crankshaft position sensor on your Tacoma. So the first step in removing this crankshaft position sensor on your Tacoma, you're going to want to go to the passenger side of the vehicle, and for ease I turned the wheels as far as I could to the left, so towards your driver's side. You can see it's pointed this way, and it makes it a lot easier to access this area where you're going to be going to on the engine. So the first thing you're going to want to do is grab one of these tools and pop off these two, or if you want to, you can just go ahead and pop off the whole flap here that kind of prevents mud and whatnot from getting in the engine bay area. So as you can see, the left side of the engine is now exposed, or the right side, however, and you can see possibly back here, we're going to see if we can get the camera back there, that the crankshaft position sensor is plugged in straight ahead right there. And actually I'm going to use this tool to kind of point it out, but it is right here, covered by a boot and secured to the side of the engine block with a 10mm bolt right there. So what we're going to do is see if we can get as many extensions onto a ratchet wrench as we can, and see if we can get it in there. Now, we may have to use a swivel just to get in there and get the correct angle on it so we don't strip the head of the bolt or anything like that, but hopefully this is going to be a fairly easy process. So we do have the old crankshaft position sensor removed. As you can see, it's clearly dirty from the four-wheeling and whatnot that we've done. It is obviously the old one, and you can compare it to the new one, and physically from a distance they look to be about the same, but when you start to examine them a little bit more closely, as you may have read on the forums, the new ones are denoted specifically by two little hash marks that they have on part of the crankshaft position sensor near the plug. I don't know how well you can see that on camera, but it does show up right there, and then when you compare it to the old one, there is nothing on it. We've tried to clean it off as best we can, and we compared part numbers that are on it, and they are different, but this is the one that you are going to want to purchase. If you do that, type that in on Sparks Parts specifically, you can go on their website, use our promo code BANDIT for 5% off all day, any day, and you can get yourself that new part. That is the new production part for these crankshaft position sensors, and like I said, they are identical. You don't have to do anything special to them. It's pretty much plug and play with these new parts that we're going to put into the truck. Again, my truck hasn't exhibited any of the symptoms of a bad CPS, so we are just going to do this for the safety of the truck, the safety of us, and hopefully if there are any misfires that are occurring due to the tune or in Toyota's stock programming, this will help lessen the number. So we're going to go ahead and reinstall it. So the things that we did use for this install of the new crankshaft position sensor is a 3/8 ratchet, couple sets of extensions. In this case we used a 10-inch plus a 3-inch, and then on top of that we used a 10mm swivel because that actually ended up being the easier thing to use at the angle that it is at. So we did connect all that up, and that was the easiest solution for us to get in there. And plus the piece that I showed you in the beginning, we believe that this is a plastic interior trim removal tool. That's what we're going to call it for right now, but one of these little forks that you can get in there and kind of pop off the little pieces in there. But super easy thing to do. I would say in total maybe about 10 minutes when we were fooling around with the tools trying to figure out what the best combination was to get in there without harming ourselves, because one thing to note is if you're going to do this while your engine is warm, that the catalytic converter on the passenger side is located right there, so you can burn yourself if you do go in there too quickly. But that wraps up the video for today. So if you all do have any questions or comments, please leave them in the section below. And if you haven't yet subscribed or liked the video, please do so. We do really appreciate it, and we come out with content every week, and we have more coming here now that the weather's getting warm. So thank you all very much for watching. Have a fantastic week, everybody, and we'll catch you next time.